In my 10 years as a freelance filmmaker, I've come across some pretty weird filmmaking lingo. Hey Adam, can you quickly do a nervous for me, man?
Yeah, sure thing. Is this what he means by a nervous? To test the emotional range of my facial expressions? To see if I'm worthy enough to be around world-class actors?
Adam? Are you okay?
Keep it together. He's testing to see if I'm worthy.
Are you sure you're okay? Your face it's all scrunchy and tense.
I won't break. I'm way too reliable of an assistant.
It's alright, man. Don't worry. I'll literally just go and do it myself.
Did it work?
So if you don't want to end up like him, you're gonna have to learn 20 of these super useful but sometimes quite weird filmmaking terms. Let's start with beginner film speak. DP or DOP stands for Director of Photography. Working closely with the director, this person is responsible for capturing the specific visual aesthetic of a project. Gaffer is the head of the lighting department, responsible for coordinating and executing the positions of the lighting on set. Matte box, the iconic rectangle thing that you'll see on the front of cameras. It's used to help block out any unwanted light from hitting the lens and flaring out the image. It can also be used to house specific filters like NDs, which help make the image a little less bright, and diffusion filters, which can help give the image a softer look. Check out the video that I made about diffusion filters right up here. Anamorphic, an image format synonymous with the black bars that you'll spot when watching movies on your TV at home. You can spot if a film or TV show was actually shot using real anamorphic lenses by noticing the oval bokeh shapes in the background of a shot. Bokeh or bokeh, there's some debate about how you pronounce this word. It refers to the quality of the outer focus elements in an image. Usually background highlights such as streetlights are often the most noticeable bokeh elements in the back of a shot. Clapper or slate, which is this iconic thing right here. It's used to help the assembly editor sync up the camera with the external audio that's being captured on set. Second sticks. If the camera assistant didn't quite drop the clapper sticks at a really visible angle to the camera, like this terrible clap for example, then they'll be asked to mark it again in front of the camera via a request for second sticks. Now let's move along to a little bit more advanced filmmaking speak. Blocking. This refers to the movement of the actors within a scene. If you're gonna block out a scene, you're essentially going through all the positions and movements that the actors are gonna be hitting during its duration. You can also combine this with blocking out the camera's movement, which really helps with the preparation of a scene. C47/croc clip. Such an unnecessary name for what is essentially a really simple piece of film gear. You'll typically see the lighting department using C47s or croc clips to pin down gels onto the front of big lights. Negative fill, which is blocking out some of the ambient light within a location to create more shadow onto an actor's face, thus creating a more contrasty look. Last looks. A call generally made by the assistant director to ask the hair and makeup department to give their final touches on an actor before the scene begins to be shot. Sound speed. You'll hear this term come from the sound department on set, and it essentially means that the sound is recording and the actor's dialogue is ready to be captured. The term sound speed originally comes from analog tape systems, which took a few seconds to ramp up before remaining at a consistent speed that would be suitable for audio recording. ADR, or additional dialogue recording, is when an actor's dialogue is re-recorded in a controlled studio environment rather than using the original dialogue that was captured on set. Think Bane's dialogue in The Dark Knight Rises.
Of course.
Room tone, recording the ambient sound of a location that you're shooting at when you're switching from one camera to the next in the editing process. Rushes or dailies, which is the raw, unedited version of the footage shot during the creation of a project. Typically, rushes are watched by filmmakers either at the end or morning of a shoot day, in order to review what's already been captured and also to help spot any gaps that you might have missed in shooting a certain scene, so you actually have a chance to still capture it to help better tell your story or concept in a particular production. And now I think it's about time for some incredibly weird bonus lingo, but it's also very, very useful. Craig David it, just like the UK garage sensation himself once said. And that's exactly what you should do with that light if you hear someone tell you this on a set. Attend to. A polite way to avoid distracting your actors with the knowledge that you're about to christen the toilet with a lovely gift. I'm talking about taking a shit here, just in case I was being too subtle. Do a nervous run. If you're just about to change shoot locations for the day, you better not leave anything behind. So you should probably do a quick final check to make sure that there aren't any stray lenses or memory cards lying around. Otherwise, you will be very nervous when you're in that car journey questioning whether or not you actually left a piece of gear behind. Fix it in post. The closest equivalence to blasphemy on a film set. Some clients do actually think that you can pretty much fix anything once the footage hits an edit suite. Well, I hate to break it to you, Mr. Client, but you actually can't, so you better try and get your shots as close to the final result as possible on set rather than off it. The martini shot, which fittingly is the final shot setup of a day's shoot, and also it's the final film slang term that was on my list. I want to give you a little caveat about some of these terms. Some film lingo does tend to change depending on which country you're working in, especially the weird slang that I've been included in this list. But the more that you do know, the more you'll actually be able to vibe with crews that you come across during your whole filmmaking journey. But don't go collaborating with every filmmaker, because you also need to know when to say no to film projects, which is why you should check out this other video right here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, because if you do, I'll do a 10-2 in your house and I won't flush the toilet. Maybe. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.